How are you on this fine Monday morning? It is Monday. It is 36 degrees. Sorry, it was 37 before, but now it's 36. And it is, how you say, better than 5 degrees, which is better than below zero, which is better than living in an ice age, I guess, permanently. So, I mean, it's not all bad. But, yeah. Good morning, Grant, or good whatever time of day it is down there, Grant. And it's probably tomorrow by now, isn't it? So, take care of the future for us. We'll be there in a little bit. Hey, Dustin, how are you? Jeffrey, hello. Chantel, hello. Barbara, how art thou? All right, we're going to let these people make their turn here as I come out. So we're heading into town, but I'm taking a different route. This is Route 16. For those of you who are somewhat familiar with the area, behind me would be Waynesboro, and actually before that, Monterey Pass. Ahead of me is Emmitsburg and Route 15. You could take Emmitsburg to Route 15. Do I need gas? No, I don't need gas, so we're okay there. So what we're going to do is actually, let's see, I've got 50 minutes. What is the quick? Let's get us to the, let's see here. Let me think. I probably should have gone through well, whatever. We'll figure something out. Yeah, we'll figure something out. Ron says, morning, Matt. Just signed up for the James Hessler session in May. Looking forward to it. Oh, good. Thank you. Oh, yeah, just a reminder, patrons, if you haven't heard yet, there are links in a post, I don't know, made sometime last week, I think. We're doing our anniversary shows as live Ask a Guides. Audience participation is mandatory. So if you're going to sign up for a ticket, you can't be shy. We want to discuss. We want your questions and your thoughts to be explored and answered with our guest guides. That's kind of the direction we're starting to take Ask a Gettysburg Guide. That's why we're doing them live on YouTube. Even if I can't figure out why it freezes, we're still going to be doing them live on YouTube. We want audience participation and interaction with the guides. I think that's the unique thing about that show is that we have we facilitate access between you and our licensed battlefield guides who are willing to come on the show. And I would like to actually have it be as much of a conversation as possible, which is tricky because sometimes you get people that call in and they pontificate and bloviate for 40 minutes and there's really no question, which means then I have to run the risk of being rude by cutting them off. I don't mind doing that to Grant, but normal people, I kind of feel bad. But I just have to keep reminding myself and perhaps the audience that I'm trying to run a show. So it's a little bit of a different mindset that I have to be in. But anyway, that's what we're trying to do. So we want more audience participation. We want you to feel like this is your show, that the guests are accessible to you through us, and after all, it is our history. It's everybody's. It doesn't belong to any institution, doesn't belong to any government, doesn't belong to any author. It belongs to us all. And now the work that compiles all the information belongs to the author or whatever, but you know what I'm saying. So yes, that's it. So if you haven't, you're a patron. If you haven't and you're able, the dates are April 19th, April 26th, I think, whatever the following Saturday is, and May 3rd. All of them will be recorded at the seminary, and we are purposefully keeping the audience small. with a limit of 20, but we do want to hit that limit so that we can make all ends meet and have a good sound in that room. 20 people should be enough to have that room sound full. So there you go. If I don't, probably another week. What now? I'll give it another couple weeks. By like second week of February, if we don't have all of them booked, then I'm going to open it up to the free followers on Patreon first, and see how that goes for a week. And then if that fills them, then we're good. If not, then I will make it free to the to Le Public de Général, which is my imaginary French way to say the general public. Yes, beautiful. Where am I? I forgot where I'm going. Oh, we'll figure it out, won't we? No, Vert Paleo, they don't own the history. That's my point. And if you think they do, then you're letting them. There's ways to look beyond what they tell you. And I'm not talking weird conspiracy stuff. I'm talking, just find the words of the people who lived it and read it. But you're right, they think they own it. All right, where am I now? Oh, this is the, where the hell am I? Emmitsburg Road, I believe. Yeah, this is the Emmitsburg Road. Okay. Morning, John B. How are you? Grant, it's freezing there. 0 degrees in the proper temperature measurement. Oh, good point. Good point. Thank you. Although, ironically, water doesn't freeze here at 35 degrees. So that's interesting. Let's see who else is here. Hello, Chris. How are you? John, hello. Nice to bump into you at Walmart the other day. Francis, how are you? It says, how does 6 questions make out in the next step? He has his next step on February 2nd. The Cherry Pie Show. Haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Good to see you. Fraser says, morning, man, everyone. Ron says, morning, match. Okay, got that. Grant says, improvised Matt. Don't know what that's referring to. Oh, gotcha. BKW says, morning, BKW. Barbara, can you please explain, how are we going to watch AG Today live on Patreon? I'm not sure I understand. Okay. Here's what you do. So again, it's going to be available for free. I don't know this out or somebody can do this while we're talking and answer it for us. I do believe that you have to, I don't know. I think if it's, okay, there's free followers, there's paid followers on Patreon, okay? The free followers can view posts that I make viewable to the public. Now, I don't use Patreon as a end user. I use it as a creator, which is a different setup. So I don't know what it looks like on your end. So I don't know if you just go to patreon.com/addressing-Gettysburg and can access free posts without having to have an account. So I'm not sure. But either way, whether you have an account or you can access the posts without one, there will be a video player in the post that will have the show, and you would just hit play. Now the thing is, you want to make sure you click the title on the player, not the title of the post, but the title on the player, so it takes you to YouTube, and then you can access it as you would normally on YouTube. The difference is that when the YouTube video, the live stream is created, it's created as unlisted, which means you can only view it if you have the link. So that's how I'm able to make it so that people on Patreon can see something on our YouTube channel that what do you call it? Free people, or that non-patrons can see. The other option is there, but you're not going to like this, Barbara. But the other option is that there's a way to create membership on YouTube, which I never finished setting up because I want to be able to offer something on YouTube that I wanted to be able to offer the same thing on YouTube that the first lieutenants get on Patreon, but it doesn't work that way because, and it's a technical reason, but I wouldn't be able to do that without extra work instead of a one button does all type of a thing. So I've been kind of paralyzed, but now that we're working on video stuff, I think there's just going to be, I don't know, we'll think of something for that. But the other option would have been to just create, do AG Today as member only on YouTube. But then that kills the audience. Like, that cut the audience down to 5 people that would be willing to do that. So that's not what we're going to do. But anyway, to answer your question, you would be able to go and see the post, and you click on the video player, and there you go. It shouldn't be that difficult to figure out intuitively. But then again, I thought call waiting would be easy, but my dad still has a hard time with it. So it's, Ty Webb says, I'll have the trots on April 26th after signing up for the July 2nd show and spending all day with our beloved guide, Lewis. So does that mean you are going, or are you not going because you don't want the trots? Stella says, where am I? Why am I? Who am I? Amen. Amen. Every morning I ask myself that. Dragoon, good morning. How tall was the copse of trees during the Battle of Gettysburg? Anyone researched it? I don't know how tall it was, but it was spread out more than it is now. It was kind of rougher ground with saplings and bushes and things like that. You can see pictures of it not too long after the battle. If you go and you look at the cyclorama, that was based on photographs taken, I don't know, I forget how many years, but years after the battle. But, years enough where veterans were able to walk around with the artist. So, I don't imagine it was very tall, or much taller than it is now, but it was also different trees. I don't know, I don't think there are, and I could be wrong on this, I don't think there are any witness trees in the copse. There was, and I think they wanted to protect it from, being blown over by the wind or something. So they strapped an iron bar to it, which just made it attractive to lightning, and then it caught fire and it's gone. But It's just the area where the cops was, but it was from what I understand, the area was wider than it is now. So a lot of that area where you go walking around it, where it's nicely mown lawn, you will find that was not the case during the Battle of Gettysburg. Rock and Roll All-Stars, good morning, Matt. How are you? Lieutenant Dan. I am doing well, Lieutenant Dan. How are you? Lieutenant Dan! Grant, the way you described how to open the Patreon video in YouTube works. I've been doing that for a while. I open it on the phone in YouTube, save it, and turn YouTube on my TV. Yeah, there you go. There you go. There are steps. Unfortunately, there's when you deal with all these third parties, there's no like easy way to do it. Someday, after I win the lottery, we're going to develop our own app. Just access it. All of the Patreon content and everything would be there, and whatnot. Well, I will even put the free stuff there too. Ty says vert. I think the height was similar, but there's much more volume there now. Yes, yeah. Most of the woods that you see here have more volume. I lose you guys here because I'm going into the dead zone. But yeah, they, for various reasons, those woodlots were cleared of underbrush and saplings and things. They don't do that anymore. They just let it go wild now. There's Lake Crawford on our left there. I think that renamed. I don't think Crawford would have liked that. I think it should be named after whoever decides to keep it. That's what we should do. Be proud. Jeffrey says, I have a question about the first Get Out of the Car tour. What's the first date? I'll be coming into town for the day 2 recording and want to double dip on AG events. Well, you are lucky because it is on our day 2 recording day that we are holding the Get Out of the Car tour. So it'll be the Get Out of the Car tour that morning, recording that evening. So, and right as I spoke, we lost it. You're welcome, Bert. Barbara says, okay, I'll try. So basically, we have to go through Patreon, and we'll end up on YouTube anyway. Yeah, you know what? Exactly right. You know what I would do, Barbara? Go to Patreon, create an account for yourself, follow us for free. That way, any of the free stuff, it'll be just easier. You'll get a notification because you're not going to get YouTube notifications anymore. You're going to get Patreon notifications. So you either have to remember it's Thursday at 5:30 and go seek it out, or be a free member on Patreon, so you'll get the notification. Either way, we're going to come back early. We're not going to wait till March to go back to weekly. We're going to come back on February 6th with the weekly show, and we'll explain it. We'll remind you about it every week until we do. I don't have a deadline for when we're going to do it, but we'll see. But also, we gained 5,000 new followers in the last month, so I don't know. Maybe with enough of that crop, AG Today makes sense, and it doesn't, do the damage I think it did. I don't know. We'll see. So who knows? It's a fluid thing. There's really no way to tell with all this stuff. It's a guessing game for the most part. So, I'm guessing no one's coming. Vert Paleo Mortician says, thank you. Oh, I read that one. Fraser says, they made it a lightning rod to save it. Yeah, basically. I think they were just thinking of, oh, what if a gust of wind comes and snaps it in half? Well, let's make it more rigid with iron. I think that's the story. I haven't heard that in years, so I could have jumbled it up with all the other crap that I've learned since then and forgotten. But we'll see. Oh, Estella coming for 2 shows. Very nice, Estella. I wonder. I should go look and see if anybody's signed up for all three of them. That person should be in the running for Listener of the Year. Actually, that's one way. If you want to become Listener of the Year, sign up for all three and show up. You can't just sign up. You got to show up too and participate. And you'll go into the hat. Consideration. Ty says, any ice skating on the lake this year or ice fishing? You know, I haven't seen anything with my own eyes, and I haven't. Nobody sent me a picture of anybody doing it online, so I doubt it. I don't know. I'm surprised no one has. What's the beaver situation in Gettysburg at the moment? How do beaver handle the winter? I guess they just kind of hide out in their lodge. I don't know how they handle it, but I would imagine they're well equipped to handle winter nonetheless. What's the situation? The frickin' lake's still there. About a month or so ago, they started building another dam and started flooding further down by Devil's Den. That was removed. But, you know, I wonder the trouble that they go through to remove it. And I saw a beaver deceiver put in there. I wonder, like, if you just remove the beavers and relocate them, like, wouldn't that be cheaper in the long run? Especially when it's offered for free? I don't know. Ty says, Grant, that all gets decided on February 2nd for some reason. God declared the beaver be controller of the weather in America. What the hell are you talking about? Garrick says, hi, Matt, watching from the Columbia station today. I did get my tickets for day 3 at the seminary. Wonderful. Thank you, Garrix. Ron says, I would sign up for all three, but Chicago is a bit of a long ride. It is. And it is a long discography. I mean, those guys have been around for almost 60 years. And made albums and albums and albums. Stella Beard says, remove the beavers. What a novel idea, right? Grant says, Listener of the Year 2025 will have a tough time matching up to last year's champion. That's true. I got to tell you, our Listeners of the Year so far have been stellar. Or should I say, stellar. Get it? Because Estella was one. Okay. Anyway, yeah, they have. I mean, Estella has come to like so many of our events, and she's just very nice and supportive, and she still manages to find the time to go to all these other things, and she's just a active and enthusiastic participant in all things Gettysburg. And then 6 questions Lents. I mean, need I say more, ladies and gentlemen? Need I say more? But then it was like, man, how do you top those two? Well, an Australian named Grant came along and got really, 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 really annoying. And I was like, you know what? I like this kid. He's annoying, and he's funny, and he doesn't care about if he hurts my feelings or not. He's going for the joke, and I love that. I appreciate that, because I'm sick of worrying about people's feelings. But I have to, because I run a business. So, you know, I was like, yeah, this guy, and by the way, he's in Australia, so he's, first of all, it's got to be difficult to be upside down all the time, right? Like the blood constantly rushing to your head, number one. Number two, when we're doing a show at like 5:30 in the evening, I think it's like 2:30 in the morning where he is. I don't know what the hell he does for a living, but you know, that's some dedication. And then he makes these shorts on his Instagram page making fun of it. It is just, he is so, okay, Grant's the Listener of the Year from 2024. Now 2025, how do you beat that guy? How do you beat Grant? Right? That's the question. Not to be or not to be. Ty, Groundhog Day. Groundhog is just an unachieving beaver. Oh, okay. Underachieving beaver. I thought you were referring to Groundhog Day, but I was like, he does know it's not Beaver Day, it's Groundhog Day, right? Fraser says the beaver situation should have been a no-brainer from the beginning. There was not beavers there. No, there were cattle there. So, I mean, they clearly, I think it would be awesome if they had cattle grazing down in the Valley of Death, because then everything would be kind of denuded, but it would be swampy. And you see that's the lame argument they make is, well, it was a swamp during the battle. No, it wasn't a swamp. It was a what do you call it? A pasture for grazing, and there was a creek running through it. And when the animals are treading upon the ground and eating the grass and shitting on the grass and going down to the creek for water, it turns swampy, but it is not a swamp. That is a bureaucratic mind trick there. So don't let anybody fool you into thinking it was a swamp. Let's see. Stella says, "Oh, Grant, I think your challenge was nothing like mine." Hold on, let me turn here. At least I wasn't annoying. Thank you for the kind words, Matt. You're welcome. You're welcome, Stella. Thank you for the constant support for all these years. Grant, Grant says, "You're my personal hero, Matt. Whenever I have decisions to make in my life, I ask, what would Matt do?" I would not do that if I were you, Grant. And that might, if you're meeting with a lot of failure and disappointment, that might be why. So I would do, what would Matt do? Figure that out, and then do the opposite. And you'll be much, much better. Please, God Almighty, don't end that at what would Matt do? Oh, there you go. Ty Webb got it. Grant asks himself that and then does the opposite. No, I'm afraid he doesn't, and he should. He should do the opposite. If I were smart enough, when I was younger, I would have been like, what would I do? And then I'd answer it, and then I'd go, okay, let me do the opposite. But I didn't. I stopped at whatever the answer was. All right, let's see. Do I have time? Yeah, we'll go to Culp's Hill. Okay, we'll do that. Okay. We'll go to Culp's Hill. And then I have to stop and get my cup of coffee at Bantam Roasters. And then I need to go to the studio. I have a meeting at 11. So I don't have much time. I live among the creatures of the night. Why is that song in my head? Who the hell is that? If every instinct you have is wrong, the opposite would have to be right. Would it be the opposite or anything but? Dragoon says, so for the next AG coffee blend, how about a chicory mix? I will find out about that. I think they do use chicory in some of their blends, but we're meeting next week, I think, or no, this week. I don't know. We're meeting sometime soon to talk about our next blend. And by the way, I had a conversation yesterday with someone who is opening a donut shop, which is fantastic because I've had her donuts. Okay, what is this? She sells them at the farmer's market and also at Bantam Roasters. And she's opening her own little shop over on the Fairfield Road. And she asked, would it be okay if she carried Little Ground Top there? So that is our first store outside of Bantam that Little Ground Top will be. And I'm trying to get it so that you can go into several different places around town and get yourself a bag of Little Ground Top. We're trying to figure out the logistics of that. Pat Benatar. I was gonna say that, but I wasn't sure. Whatever happened to her? So we'll go this way this time. Grant says, of all the coffee made in Gettysburg and created by a podcast, Little Ground Top might be my second or third favorite. I'm going to send that to me, an Instagram or something, so I could put that in the reads for Little Ground Top. Babra says, the other day, you were singing Up on Cripple Creek. That is correct. I guess you saw Garth Hudson died at age 87. That was the keyboardist, right? I did see that he died. I don't know if that's why that song was on my... No, it wasn't. It was because I was going on Crooked Creek Road. And it's, so close to Cripple Creek that I started singing Up on Crooked Creek. So that's why. But I did see that he died, yes. I guess I was 90. So he must have been old when they were young. Ty Webb says, Dragoon reminding me of Johnny Sack's brother-in-law trying to talk in code and talking about the guy with the chicory and Johnny making fun of him. Johnny Sack's brother-in-law, who was that? I'm trying to remember. Johnny Sack's brother-in-law. Laura Branigan. That's it. I always get her and Pat Benatar confused. She did Gloria. That one. And that's the name of the song. All right, take my self-control. Oh, the brother-in-law, he would always say the wrong word. Is that what I'm thinking? I mean, it is what I'm thinking. Am I correct in thinking that? The optometrist, that's right. There's old Pap Green there on the right. We're on Stevens Knoll now. Greenleaf Stevens Battery. I could not, on the guide exam, remember his name, but I knew it was odd. And it literally came to me on the drive home after the test. Penn State Harrisburg. I love when people comment with a fake name. Ty. That was Little Carmine. Little Carmine's the one that got... That's right. He got all the... Yeah. He said all the things wrong. That always made me laugh. People that do that. But they act really profound and intelligent. Like me. Grant. Who would Matt be in The Sopranos? He's from Jersey after all. I probably would have been one of the guys that got to hang out with them and made a joke that was just a bridge too far and then wound up in a dumpster. I wouldn't last very long around the mob. I just wouldn't do that. We're turning in here to the parking lot at the inn at Cemetery Hill. I love the lost tourist driving and trying to figure out where I am face. It's like scrunched up, the lower jaw protrudes, mouth opened, and they're looking around like, where am I? Is this it? I don't understand. What am I looking for? That always makes me laugh. Because we all do it. That's why. I laugh at things that I recognize in myself. You know, I'm not standing like I'm perfect. I see I do the same things, and I think it's funny. I think everyone should just laugh at themselves. Because I am laughing at you. Babber says, the sacred and the profane. Yeah. Right. Oh, God. Stella, Glenn and I always stay at the inn of Cemetery Hill. I haven't been there. When it used to be the Econo Lodge, or the Travel Lodge, I had a friend come and stay, and that's where they stayed, or I had friends come and stay. There were a couple, and they stayed there, and I went to pick them up before we went out, and got to see it. But I don't know what they've done since it's become the Inn of 1863 or Cemetery Hill. No, I don't know. There's too many names that are... Why are so many names around here full sentences? Like, you know what I mean? Like, can we shorten things? I don't have time to say the name of a lot of places. So I say the Old Travel Lodge or the Old Holiday Inn. And if you don't know what those are, then you're going to have to ask around. It's just a waste of time for everybody. Glenn and I always say, okay, yes. Carmine was very allegorical. Carmine was a pretty funny character. And it's funny because everybody knows a Carmine. What would be cool is if we knew Carmines who were actually named Carmine. Carmine Lupertazzi. Wasn't that his name? Grant says that Greek revival architecture really is everywhere in America. So many places that look like that. The front of the White House to a foreigner like me. Yeah, there was a time. And like you could tell, like, because there's like the actual attempts at recreating that with good construction, like I would say the White House, solid construction, and then there's the assembly line construction that you would see in front of hotels or restaurants or something like that. And that came much later when we lost our taste. Dragoon is an 1863 inn guy, but I miss the old Hojos. Oh, yeah, that's where the Best Western is now. Best Western's nice. Stella says, we've been staying there since 1986. Back then it was called the Heritage. I've heard of that. That's before my time, though. Wow, 1986, Estella. You are a Gettysburg veteran. All right, everybody, I've got to go get a coffee and then head on over to my meeting. It was great talking with you this morning. Thank you for spending time with me. And I'll do more of these this week as we go along. Lots of recording sessions lined up. Some of them are Google Meets, so I probably... it's up to you guys, the first lieutenants, if you want them on Patreon. I'll do them if you just care about the information. The Google Meet ones are pretty boring to look at, but yeah. So I have those coming up. Let me know if you want to see them, and I'll do them. But we'll definitely show you the ones that are being recorded that have a person in the studio with us and whatnot. So you guys have a great day. Talk to you later.